right, if you've been following along, we've spent all this time right here, and not once have we talked about squaring up the face. Number one, we haven't been using a ball, right? We've really been trying to take and do drills, make swings, and learn how to swing, right? Because shouldn't you learn how to swing before you hit a ball? You should. Shouldn't you learn how to swing, hit a ball before you go on a golf course? You should. Shouldn't you learn how to swing, hit a golf ball, get on a golf course before you compete? You should, okay? So there's a big rush. It's that whole, tortoise and the hare thing, right? We rush out, we just hand new people clubs and they whack it and they miss so many swings that they feel frustrated, right? They feel embarrassed. They're just a big loser and they can't lose those strokes, and it's just a bad thing in their head, and that's where they end up quitting and going on there, okay? So we're going to talk about squaring up the face. What does squaring the face mean? Squaring the face means what? Hey, it means if I start the club pointing at the camera, when it comes back in here, it needs to be pointing at the camera. Shouldn't be pointing out to the right, or my ball will fly to the right. Shouldn't be pointing to the left, or my ball will fly to the left, okay? So we want to make sure that when we swing the club back, it's lined up, or it's lined up pretty closely to what we want to do. This way, once we launch the ball, we're not launching it the wrong direction, I remember the first time I started launching balls, I was happy, man. I was like, okay, well, it went way right, or went way left. I was like, I didn't care, man. It was going further, okay? Then all of a sudden you go, okay, well now, if I start launching it further, it can what? It can go out of bounds. It can go further into a lake, further into trees, right? So all of a sudden you say, oh, with great speed and great distance becomes great responsibility to square the face, okay? So a lot of teachers want to talk about how super complicated squaring the face is, and I'm here to tell you it is not. Number one, if you have not done all the steps we have, if you have not secured the outside strong, if you have not rotated on plane, if you have not positioned your elbow, if you have not applied speed from opposite corners, you're not in position to square the face. We should write that down, okay? If you're not in position to square the face, you're not going to. If you are in position to square the face, then you only have to have one move. One move, that's it, okay? So remember, right, this is the inside part of my swing, right? And so where did this side, when I come back here, right, this turned where? Turned outward. In and up is it's turning outward from that line, right? And so now as I'm coming in here, right, what if I took the grip and I just turned it back inward? I just took the grip and I put pressure on the grip and I turned it in, be square, right? Okay, right? So this is basically applying torque, right? Torque is just this 90-degree inward turn, right? So when I'm coming in here, I want you guys to give me a now, okay? Hold on a second. Coming in here, starting to wind down here. I want you to give me a now when you say, Jeff, you should start turning it inward. Now, okay? What if I never turn it inward, okay? If you never turn it inward, then the club face is going to stay out to the side, right? That's the slice, right? That's why most people, if you go to Google and you go, fix my golf slice, right? If you get 8 million hits, and if you go fix my golf hook, okay, you'll get a fifth. You'll get, right? But why? Because it's more prominent that people what? Hey, you got to turn it back in, okay? So I like to think of this as my door. Front of the door, front of the house, right? There's the door, right? You can't get in the door. So we open up the door, what happens, okay? You create an angle. You create angles, right? And so now, when I start creating these angles, what do I got to do? I got to what? Close the door. Okay? So I have to turn the club back in. Like I look at my door right here. If it comes over here, then you know what this side of the hinge does? What? It turns it back in. Opens it up, turns it back in, right? So inward, I-N-W-A-R-D, inward rotation. You have to keep the club moving inward, right? Remember that connection point on that front arm? The left arm was connected, right? Started connected up here, nice and strong. You didn't get your arms off your body, wavering in the sky, right? If you get your arms off, right, you'll never turn it inward, will you? But if you got it connected right here, right, from here, now I'm gonna just turn it inward, right? See how that just stays right there? Turn it inward, right? So my arm stays up against my body. Watch what I'm doing, I'm turning this inward. Now, maybe too much weight for you to do just with your front hand. So let's do the front hand drill here, right? Just gonna put this guy in timeout right here, right? And I just want you to look down here, turn inward, right? Keep that arm connected. The shaft was pointing, remember that toe line? Yeah, when it came in and up, hey, it was in line with my toes. And then when it came back down, it wasn't where? It was back in line with my toes, right? And then here's this move, turn this grip inward. Turn it inward, Okay, so that's what I want to see you do. I mean, if you just want to shoot video at your house, right? Get the camera, get the camera down the line here. Just put yourself over here in this position here, right? If you're gonna put both up, right? Still got those two right there, and then from here you just go turn inward. Okay? You want to turn to the camera this way, here, turn inward. Okay? Yeah. This way, turn inward. Okay? Who's turning inward? Is my ankle turning inward? It is. My knee turning inward? It is. My hip turning inward? It is. We already know this went up and away, so we know it's down and turning in, right? Wrists, turning in, right? Elbow, everything's what? Turning the club back inward, right? Rotate it out, gonna turn it back in. Turn it back in. Not only you square the face, but that action of turning it back in right there, right? Okay, creates a lot of speed, right? Creates a lot of speed. If you start using those angles too soon and you don't turn it inward, yeah, it won't go far, okay? So this week we're gonna work on what? Turning it inward. Now I know you're an athlete, you're gonna go, Jeff, do we get to hit more balls this week? We're so sick of listening to you. But we'll start talking about hitting more balls next week. But you know what? Hey, we want to what? We're going to pass up the competition because the competition is not training correctly. They're rushing out, they're hitting that golf ball, and they got no foundation, right? And they're just going to wander around, and then all of a sudden you're going to come back and look, and you go, oh my gosh, they're so much worse than me. We started at the same time, but they were over hitting balls, looked like they were having fun, and we've just been training, drilling, training, practicing, swinging. Who's going to have fun? It's a game for a lifetime, right? If it takes you 6 months, 8 months, a year to learn how to do it correctly, you got 60 years of kicking people's behind. If you rush out and you try to do it incorrectly, you get frustrated, you'll never get it, and then what? You're going to stink at the golf course for 40 or 50 years. Most likely, you just won't play much either, too, because who wants to go out there and go, well, I stink at golf, right? It's not going to be fun. So, hey, work on turning the club inward to square that face. I'll see you at the next video.